Bum 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 ba-dum bum bum bum
Oh,
bum
mate,
bum
bum bum.
man 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 bum 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 bum.
Go on, let's join in. Money man, bum bum. Bash Bros.
So make sure you subscribe to our channel, Bash Bros, for more content.
Make sure you like and subscribe and put those notifications on.
Or the booger man will get you.
I'm not fucking about. I have to edit that off.
So from your work.
Yes, from work conference calls. So yeah.
Just so they don't see that mess in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. You get to see it, but it's not. When I'm having HR meetings, it's probably not the one.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
How was it? You good? You probably understand a little bit more. They'd be like, well, he's clearly not all there, so let's
like he lives in someone's broom cupboard.
Harry Potter.
Is this guitar for later? Are we going to hear a song? I'd like to hear a song.
Oh, mate, no, I can't slap at the BS for you today, I'm afraid.
Why?
There is a couple of bass tunes.
I'll put my tambourine back.
Oh, mate, yeah, if we could do a Bash Bros band, I mean, that'd be sick.
I thought that's what this was. I thought it was a fifth member.
Oh, I kind of want to do it now.
Did you see that? Back. Did you see that one that Bodybuilding UK posted for us to do?
Oh, yeah, the harmony group. Yeah. 5-part harmony group. I could do that bit of your auto-tune. You send your parts over. Johnny will need the most. Celine Dion in the bank. Oh, you're already recording. I'm actually late to the party.
You're always late to the party.
No. Usually I'm 7 minutes late.
Yeah.
We went to the dog park and there was a bit of this old woman's like tiny little thing decided that Abe was definitely the one to have a tear up with. Like literally was like, "Rah!" And then Abe just like did his version, which sounded like a velociraptor on fire, and then I had to charge in and just that's enough.
A bit like Blessing calling out Nick Walker then.
Yeah, a little bit like. Yeah.
We're going straight on there, we're going straight into it.
Going straight there, mate.
Jesus.
I think everyone's talking about that, aren't they?
It's big news at the moment.
I mean, obviously he did it for hype, like all the chatting shit. I thought that Nick, actually wasn't going to look that good, and I
agree with that. I thought in the lead up with a few pictures, I said this to Claire earlier. I thought he looked a little bit blocky for the level of that of where they are. When you look at, and I appreciate there's still strides apart, but Sean Murray and people like that, I thought I think he's a bit, but on stage, I think his physique flowed a lot better than, well, I don't know about anybody else, but certainly than what I thought he was going to. And from the result, probably the same.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, he's still, because he's so young, he's still not got that hard conditioning.
Yeah, I agree with that. How old is he?
24 or 6, yeah, 26, I think.
26.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fucking hell.
The same, really. I didn't. What weight was he? Does anyone know what weight he was? I know he looked fucking massive.
Yeah, he was. That's when he steps on the scale, it just says massive.
Yeah. Alert.
Too massive.
Like I was at my daughter's profile.
What I was going to ask, Dan, do you reckon he's got what you had with the veins in the legs?
No, 100%. Those are
they are varicose veins. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's a certain condition that you had, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just called varicose veins. It's basically where the valves in the below the heart, you have valves that allow blood to just travel one direction, and when they break, obviously you then get like sinking. Gravity just pulls the blood, and then they dilate, and then they stretch, and that's why they look like that. So we should have them out, really.
So how do they correct that then? Just by removing them?
Just rip them out, yeah. They ripped all mine up. I had them from the groin down, and they were enormous. So he just has them on his calves. So they just make an incision like behind his knee, and then they feed these wires in, and there's like an umbrella comes out, and then they like rip them out.
Right.
So that's what they did to me. Well, they tried, and then they had to go in like another 50 times because they couldn't.
But surely they're all adjoined. They must be to come from the heart, they must rotate back in some sense.
The thing is because there's blood pooling, they never return anyway.
Okay.
So actually, just by ripping them off and tying them, it doesn't really matter. They're not, people as well. It's not like deep vein stuff where like it's a problem. They're superficial veins, and your body will dilate other veins, superficial ones, to cope with the blood flow. So like, yeah, he should probably have them out. To be honest,
Dan, how long were you out with yours though?
What, of training?
Yeah.
Mate, I literally said to work, no, it's cool, I'll be back next week. I was fucked for a month. Like, I didn't go back to work for a month.
Yeah.
Like, because they thought it was quite straightforward, but they said as well, I'm nowhere near as muscular as Nick, but they said because the muscularity had like kind of gripped onto the veins, they had to go in and then they couldn't do it through the incision. So they basically had to strip the skin from the inside of my legs and then pull them out through the cavity. So that put me out for like ages. Yeah, I was out for like probably about 8 weeks, really. But the thing is that mine clotted, so they were like his, and then I got blood clots, so they bled internally.
Okay, so, that's enough of that.
So
I did see a video. I've seen a video of something not that long ago.
Yeah, that's
the land that time forgot. My mind doesn't really work very well in the sense of timing, but not in in like the last 6 months, I want to say.
Yeah.
In your bathroom or something, am I right to say that?
Yeah.
That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But yeah.
So that was because I've got so much scarring there, and thinning of the skin, like from the surgery, that I just bashed it on the bath, and I didn't even realise. And I thought it was like something from the ceiling. And then I looked closer, and it was just a jet out of my leg. And I've done that a few times, to be fair. So yeah, it should probably
goes a long way as well, doesn't it?
It was a fair bit. So yeah, that's definitely what he's got going on. It doesn't look that bad. The reason mine looks so bad, I mean, I had to have them out because of the clotting, but the reason mine looks so bad is because I've got shit calves. So at least he's got massive calves, and it looks like, yeah, mine just looks like. I
think Vince he seems very not reliant upon bodybuilding, but he seems very like he's there at the moment, isn't he? That's it. If that's 8 weeks, if you said to him, no, you're going to have to stop eating for 4 weeks, I think that would be...
Yeah, you're probably right.
No, I'll save it for another time. He seems very driven at the moment. I think he's stopped since he stepped off stage, the last time.
Dan, is there anything that can come of it? Like, is there any negative effects so if he didn't have them removed?
It would be very, very rare, but if they clots can move.
Right.
So you could... Like there's loads of stuff that would stop this from happening. Obviously, the ultimate worst case scenario is that your clot would move and you can get a stroke or a heart attack. But I think with the superficials, it's not like if it was a deep vein, like they don't get varicose anyway. But if there was clotting in the deep vein, like you're in fucking trouble. So it's not like a DVT, but anything that's like clotting or something inside your body is not a good thing to be having because they can float, and your blood's got to get through like real small shit, like when it gets to like your brain. So possibly, but I'm sure someone, I'm sure he's gone and had these looked at.
Yeah, you can take. There's things you can take, isn't there, as well? But I'm sure to kind of prevent the clotting and I don't know what you'll know what it's called. I broke with my legs once. I was in a wheelchair, and there was something I had to inject every warfarin. Is it?
Yeah, warfarin. Yeah.
And it thins the blood, stops you from getting blood clots and stuff.
Yeah, which is basically rat poison, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll explain a few things, but yeah.
But you were rat free, so that was
right. Yeah.
So let me do the introduction then, and then we can get back into it. So welcome back to Bash Bros Podcast, episode 41. We're lucky enough to be joined by IFBB Pro Paul Latham.
Bristol's finest, but fire, down with the Welsh, boo, boo.
Yeah, you're still outnumbered, Paul.
Aaron doesn't count. Doesn't count.
So I'll share that's not it.
Careful, Johnny, careful.
Oh,
what happened there?
That was quick. Well done.
There we go. Got there. Don't worry, pal. I clean my internet history every time, just in case.
So I was just about to say that. You're braver than I am.
Don't even follow him.
That's not me on the right, just to be clear.
Right.
That's quite the transformation if it was.
So this is
I'm a wizard with a lipstick.
This is the profile Paul shares with his wife, both of which compete. If you're not following Paul, go over, give him a follow. So usual routine, Paul. I don't know if you've seen any of our episodes. Probably not. You haven't got enough time to watch it. Oh shit! But give us a rundown, pal. What of your competition history? What got you into the sport, and sort of plans going forward?
What got into the sport? I used to race motorbikes. I did motocross. I did motocross for fucking hell. My first bike when I was 3. A little PW50 with stabilizers on. I raced until I was about 24, and for the last 2.5 years, I was professional. I got paid to do it. I got paid a salary, and then I earned money from the races for points and all the rest of it. But not a lot. Just to be very clear on that, it was what it was. I've broken fucking. I think on my file was like 30 bones, something like that. I've had 7 or 8 operations. I've got a metal jaw. I've got metal with pins in my legs, my hips. I broke my back twice. I've had some quite bad ones, and I just stopped enjoying it. I think you can have, you can enjoy it as much as you can enjoy it. And I think when you're a kid, and when I say a kid, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then you start seeing your friends progress in real life, and you're kind of I spent my 21st birthday with my dual wire together. I had a pair of handlebars went up through my helmet, through my cheek, so I shattered my jaw completely. I snapped my gum out, 4 teeth came back, and they cut my tongue out. I was choking on my tongue, I had to be air ambulanced off. So I was pretty, I was quite good on a bike without blowing trumpet. And I didn't crash very often, but when I did crash, it was fucking awful. And I think at that point, I thought, well, fuck this. And, like you say, you see all your mates going out downtown. And I didn't drink until I was probably 21, and that's genuinely every weekend. I'd be all over the country, sometimes, in other parts of the world racing. So, and I stopped. And then, obviously, I'd done that for 21 years of my life. And I would ride maybe 2 or 3 times in the week. I'd race every weekend. So when you stop that and you take that away, I was very lost. And I'll put my hands up on anyone that knows me closely. So I kind of made up for lost time in terms of I could drink, I could be around town, I could do all the things that all of that involved. So I did, and I kind of I wouldn't say I went off the rails. I've always been pretty level-headed, but if I'm doing something, I'm fucking doing it, and I'm doing it better than anybody else. So I would go out, and it got to a point I was going out 5 nights a week. I was fucking just earning reasonably good money at the time, and just spunking it and going out and just doing dumb shit and all the rest of it. So I woke up one day and thought, fucking, what should I do? I need to do something. And I used to be very, 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 very fit. I used to fucking run everywhere, cycle everywhere, and I've always enjoyed doing the weight side of it. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. And I got in touch with an old friend of mine, Dan Han, by chance, in truth, who owned a shop. I was working very near to where his shop was. I popped in, see them, how are you? And over the course of the week, I was best friends with him for probably 15 years. And then I hadn't seen him for 15 odd years. And then throughout the course of that week, I probably bumped into him like probably 4 times, just literally by chance, not seen him for 15 years. And then, it was always like I was following him around, which I wasn't, just to be fair. And I said to him about it, and he said, well, I feel if you want to do it, I don't mind guiding you, like I'll help you. So that was that. And that was in 2014. Did a show, did the Nabber West. I didn't know I finished. There's a couple of judges that went to the same gym as me, said I was 4th or 5th. Didn't place, didn't get a trophy, but enjoyed it. And I thought, do you know what? This is for me. And
what year was that?
2014. May 2014 was my first show.
I think I was there.
Yes, you were there, because I will say this. I will say this, and I've said this to you before. Backstage, I left, and Dan collared me and said, "Oh, listen, just don't be disgruntled. You need to keep doing this." And I walked out, and I thought, you know what? And I sat down and I ate my food. I was watching the show, and I thought, I think had I gone out and won, I probably wouldn't have gone back. Is the truth of it. The fact that I didn't made me think, fucking hell, I want to have a go at this. This is quite brutal. You know, there was 20 of us, I think, on stage, and to go up to do 15 weeks or however long I'd done it, probably wasn't 15 weeks, but whatever it was, and leave with nothing wasn't enough. And I can say that that's the only time that I've ever not placed, and it's probably the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I mean that for life, for where I am now, for what I've achieved, not in bodybuilding as such, but just it's with everything. You all know yourself, we're all bodybuilders. If you haven't got any structure, then you're pissing in the wind. And I do take that. I've learned so much from it that it's kind of guided me through life. As an adult, shall we say?
I think that's a common theme when we've got loads of people on the podcast, and it is like there's so many lessons to take from training. Everyone who just looks in is like, oh, just morons lifting stuff up and stuff. But like, it taught me everything about. It's all transferable. Do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Everything that you do to become better at training, you can move into.
Oh, listen, I wake up in the morning and I know what I'm doing until I go to bed. And if something chucks a curveball, I wouldn't say I'm fucked, but I'm like, like what the fuck? And then you have to readjust. And as you know, life is life, and and unfortunately that does happen quite frequently, especially in the trade that I'm in. But every day is planned. Every fucking minute of the day. Geez, I got like 7 alarms on my phone, and they go off, and I eat, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If this tells me to eat, I'm eating. That's it. It's done.
Just to clarify, what trade is it you're in?
I'm a motor trader, so I've got I want to say car dealership. We use that a bit loosely, but I've got 70 car pitch spread over. I've got 2 sites, so it's spread over the 2 sites. So and I've done that. I did when I first started bodybuilding. I was selling private medical insurance, and it didn't fit in with the bodybuilding. I met Claire. We kind of spoke about it. I knew friends that were in the motor trade. I knew a little bit about being in the motor trade, and I thought, I need to get out of this. I need to do something with it. Like I said before, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it, and I wanted to do it like everyone does. Not on a professional level. I've never ever said I want to go out and be an IFBB Pro. But I wanted to do it as best as I could do it. And I like the look of a bodybuilder, and I wanted to be that image that I had in my head, I suppose. So I borrowed £1,000 off of my old man, bought 2 cars, sold them, bought 4 cars, and so on and so forth. I managed to earn a living, pay the bills, and kind of progress the business. And that was, I met Claire in 2015, I think. And that was from there really, and on we went. So yeah, we've there's been a few. I've had a business partner in the middle of it, and that's it's not all just been that simple and all the rest of it. But where we are now is through just fucking working, grafting. We didn't really spend any money on anything. I like to have the odd nice thing here and there, but we're not. You didn't see us in Dubai and all the rest of it, everything I earn. I'm so fucking shit scared of going backwards again and not having any money. I didn't like fucking spending it. So literally any money I got, it goes back into the business or on bodybuilding.
Yeah. So bodybuilding is technically still a hobby for you then?
I didn't earn it. I've earned the only money I've ever earned from bodybuilding is I did the NABA Pro-Am and in 2018 and I won £1,000 because I won the Pro-Am. And I had no idea that there was even any prize money. So I was given an envelope. They literally don't advertise it. It's if they do a NABA Pro-Am again and you're able to do it, it is for, as it suggests, professionals and amateurs. The prize money, I don't know if that'd be the same after all of obviously COVID, but the prize money is £1,000, and I think it has been since we started doing it. But yeah, Jim never told me. He just invited me to come along and do it and give me a trophy. I shook his hand and he said, oh, take this as well. And give me a white envelope. I went backstage, I opened it, there was a fucking £1,000 on that. I did it on, I could have quite easily just left it on the side and not. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, from that, I didn't earn any money from bodybuilding. And I do this because I think with the racing, all I wanted to do was race motorbikes for a living. That's all I wanted to do. I grew up with that. That was like the goal. And when I got that first paycheck, I was like, man, I fucking made it. I was over the moon. And from that point, the expectations from you, and I appreciate this is probably a little bit different, were very, very, very high. And then I stopped enjoying it because I like to win for me. I like to win because I don't like to fucking lose. But I didn't want to be told I've got to win, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think
it's like if I'm doing it, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it because I want to be the best. I want to be the last man standing. I want to look better than the guy next to me. But when somebody's telling you that you have to do that, then it kind of takes it out for me.
You see it for James Hollingshead at the moment. Loads of people are criticizing him for going out and skating and doing this and doing that. But you can clearly see that the fact that bodybuilding has become a job for him, he's got to find something else because it's
something to I must admit, I think that's the pressure of it, isn't it? And the thing is when you consume yourself in it, which we all do anyway. I think it doesn't matter if you're on any level, if you're a first timer or if you're going to the Olympia. I think that we all lose 15 to 20 weeks of our life, of our normal life, shall we say. And I think to just have that is, I can understand it. I always say my work is like my hobby. I love it. I've never woke up and, no matter what really happens, I've never woke up and thought, oh, I've got to go to work today. It's mine, it's what I've created, and that's my hobby. As much as bodybuilding is, I guess. I get as much of a buzz from it as I do from that. But outside of that, I didn't really have anything that we really do other than obviously Claire the kids.
So bring us up to speed more recently then, competition-wise. Obviously, we know where you turned pro and everything, but if just for people who are watching.
Yeah, sorry. So I did. So when did I compete? So 2014 and into 2015, I think when UKBFF were the federation to be with. I think 2015 I did they used to do the inter 80 kilos, which is the under 80 kilos, but I think you could never have qualified for British finals before. I think that's how it worked.
Yeah.
I finished third. That was the year. This will take a little minute, but brace yourselves. That was the year so I've got Crohn's disease. I've actually got ulcerative colitis or something to that effect.
Say that again?
Yeah. Ulcerative colitis. There you go. Got it. Nailed it. 7 years, nailed it. In 2015, and I was really bad. I was like 5 weeks out from the finals. I worked my bollocks off to that point. I was getting real bad stomach cramps. I was in bed, I had fever, I was sweating, all the rest of it. Went to the doctors. I take a lot of painkillers for the fact that my body barely works anymore. And when it does, it's in pain. So went to the doctors. He said, I think it's an ulcer from the painkillers. From taking Nurofen. So he sent me to the hospital, they sat me down, I stayed in the hospital for a couple of days, came out, gave me loads of tablets, it felt better. Then a couple of days down the line, I was having stomach cramps again, and I was literally buckled over, I couldn't move, all the rest of it. Used the bathroom, and I passed 1 litre and 3/4 of blood in total. I was fucked. So I was rushed to the hospital. They put me in the ward, kept me there for like about 5 days. And Claire, bless her, was smuggling in my meals for me because obviously I was still on prep, and my BCAAs and my protein and stuff. And I came out of there and I fucking hell, and that's when I was diagnosed with the colitis. Which is, for those who don't know, is ulcers all in my stomach lining all the way through to your asshole. So when it gets bad, it's, if you can imagine when you get you get an ulcer in your mouth, you have a crisp, and it's already a bit of lemon, and it's like, fuck, that hurts. It's like that through my whole system. And then the ulcers turn into scabs, and then they clot, and then it bleeds and all the rest of it. So when I get it, it is quite bad. So I came out from there probably, fucking hell, I probably lost like a stone, and I was 5 weeks out, so you can imagine what I looked like. I literally looked like a frail old man. But yeah, I came out of there, competed, finished third, I think, something like that. Looked absolutely flat as a pancake on stage. Never really recovered from it. That was 2015. 2016, I entered the proper, shall we say, under 80 kilos. I finished fourth. 2017, I finished third, and then UK BFF went a little bit belly up, as we all know from that point. 2018, I won the Pro-Am, and I finished second at the NABA finals. Then 2019, I won the NABA finals. I won the Worlds the following week, which was in Ireland. And then, 2020, I did the Two Bros. I thought I'd give it a bash. And the point of that was to see where I stood, because all of the guys that you see on Instagram that are, shall we call them influencers? I don't know, fucking people on there with loads of followers. They all do the Two Bros, and they all look wicked, and they're all these fucking photos, in Dubai and all the rest of it. And I think, you know what, fuck it, let's go and have a go and just see, because you don't know, do you? Unless you have a go, you don't know. And I thought, well, I genuinely had, and Dan will tell you, it's not. I like to win, but I don't put myself there with these people that win, if that makes any sense. I like the graft. I like it. If there's no show at the end of it, you would still see me looking like fucking death for 3 weeks, killing myself because that's
he
the bit.
Fucking loves it. He fucking loves it.
I struggle with not normality, but if I'm not doing something, then I'm not moving forward, and if I'm not moving forward, I'm moving backwards, and that's when I head drops, and I wouldn't say I get depressed, but just fucking what's the point, man? Just done 5 weeks of off season. And I literally I'm on prep now. I've been on prep for 2 weeks. And I wasn't supposed to be competing until December. I said to James 2 weeks ago, I was sat on the sofa on Sunday morning, and I said to Claire, if I compete, do you mind if I compete? And she said, baby, do whatever you got to do. So I said, can you see what shows are on? Pro shows in 15 weeks? This is like 11 o'clock. And then by 1 o'clock, I dipped my toe in the water with James, because he didn't really want me to do it, and he said, look, man, I'll support you, I'll do whatever you want to do. So then she booked a hotel and the flights to go to Spain, and then that was that. So by Sunday night, that was it. I had my diet, everything ready to go. But yeah, sorry, I fucking lost track there.
But that's up to date. So I think you did it.
And then obviously I won the British in 2020. Yeah, in 2020 for the Two Bros. 1 year overall, which was, if you've seen the video, I was probably more shocked than anybody that was watching it. But yeah, I did, and here we are now. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I competed again after that. The British, not the British, at the English Grand Prix, British Grand Prix,
British Grand Prix, yeah.
British Grand Prix, yeah, in the 212, and finished fifth, which was quite a good. There's only 7 in the class, but I beat two other pros that have been pros for a couple of years, so I was happy with that. And 1 place behind my coach, I would also mark, which was nice, to be fair. If I was going to lose to anyone, I was, I'm very grateful to James for what he does, and
do you think if you'd have beat him, it would still be all right?
Yeah, do you know what? The funny thing is that when people say, "Oh, fucking like you've got to stand next to him," and are you sure he's going to? Honest to God, I genuinely, I've only ever had one guidance, which is from what I've learned from Dan, from the not from Dan, the other chap, not Dan like that. For and that was literally that, a little bit of guidance. It wasn't coaching. So from that point, I got involved with James, and I've never ever had any other coach. So I've been involved with James for 6 years, 7 years, and I see him every week. James comes down to train with me every week, and I go up to train with James. When James was prepping for a show, I used to go there 2 or 3 times a week just to go up and train with him. I don't know. He kind of trains on his own. He's a bit like I am. I put my headphones on, I get on with it. But I also know when it comes to the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, just to have that that person there, there, just to give you a little bit of a push can help. And we've always been like that. So I don't think that I could honestly say there's nobody else I think that I could trust as much as I do James. So yeah,
I was. Oh, good question.
Go
on. Does James hate us because of the Joshua Kinsey podcast? Because obviously, no, I've got all the time in the world for James, and he's always been very supportive of my bodybuilding. 2017, my best year, you can hear him on the videos all shouting for me. Yeah. And he's been great to me. But obviously, Josh Kinsey came on and said some stuff. So
what did Josh say? I haven't watched it. I hold my hands up to you. I didn't even know what a fucking podcast was. I still really don't know. I guess I've got a Walkman. That's me. So yeah, all this stuff is. I opened my Instagram account in 2015, I think 2006. No, fuck me, 2018. After I won the Worlds, I opened my Instagram account. So,
it was a podcast that Josh Kinsey came on and he said some stuff. Obviously, James didn't really get an opportunity to defend himself.
Let's get him on.
Yeah, well, just say I'll defend James. I'll tell you if it's true or not. James is as blunt as I am. I got nothing to hide.
And is Josh's opinion not void now? Really?
Why?
I don't know what Josh's opinion is. I think Josh left to go with some Patrick, was it?
Patrick, yeah, you were with Patrick.
Well, it went really well. It lasted about 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Well, there you
Then he
go.
became a hippie.
There you go.
And he became a hippie.
Yeah.
There you go. That answers us up because I know that he was with Josh. He was with James from day one of his career, I believe. I might be wrong. So that kind of answers everything you need to know about James. I didn't have a great big spectrum of knowledge when it comes to coaches. But I do know, and I don't think it's any different for me than it is for anybody else, is that if I look shit, James will tell me I look shit. But he will, if I text James will text me back within a more than admirable period of time. It's not a case of players had coaches before now that have a time period of when they tell you they will reply to your messages. And it was between 10 and 12 o'clock at night. So, James is on his phone all the time. He's got a lot of clients and he's very, very good at what he does. He's got a lot of British titles. He's got a lot of other titles and he's got a few IFBB pros that he's nurtured, so we say, from day one. So I think that kind of speaks in itself.
Well, I think as well,
I'm not here to defend him, but person to put him in that, we can all chat shit. But the reality of it is look at his record.
Exactly.
Why so many clients? Why are they all winning? Why are you all doing well?
He didn't say that James was shit or anything. He didn't say anything.
No, I don't know. I didn't see it.
Right. No, that's right. It wasn't like a thing. We were just wondering if he now hated us. But we'll just invite him on and then we'll find out.
Yeah, James. I'm sure James would sit here and talk to you guys. It would be very good to be on here because James is, he's a ball of knowledge, isn't he? He's done what he's done. He's achieved. He's been on the Olympia stage. He's got a lot of clients. I'm sure he's got a lot of good stories.
Well, he could have given you the wrong advices.
Well, say he could or he couldn't.
He could have. If you were competing together, give you wrong advices, like Arnold. Give you the wrong advices.
I wonder I don't know how many shows he's prepped me for. I don't know, 12, I suppose. I've done probably 12, 15 shows. So if he started chucking Domino's pizza in 3 days out and a milkshake, then I could probably smell a rat with that. I would probably go with it, but I would know that it's wrong.
But also the importance of not coach hopping when shit doesn't go your way for like one season or like one prep.
Yeah.
Like you've been with one guy, he probably knows you better than you know yourself.
Oh,
And
I say to James, oh mate, I'm like now, I would look fucking flat. I lost. What was I this morning? I was like 203 pounds this morning. I started at 215 12 days ago. No, what days is today? Monday. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago. And I don't have cheat meals. I don't. Once I'm on prep, that's it. We'll have refeeds. My stomach's not very good, as we know, with the colitis. So I have to be very, very careful. And I've been, you know what it's like. You start dropping a bit of weight, you don't get any pumps, you look fucking shocking in the mirror, you look shit in clothes, you look shit out of clothes, it's just shit, like a shit, until 2 weeks out and you're pilled, and then you want to wear a vest. So I've been all week, sending him my weight, drops another 2 pounds, and he's like, all right, good work, I'll see you Thursday. Fucking hell, and it's been like that all week. But he will do, I'm asking and looking at myself thinking, I look flat, and you're exactly right. James says he knows what to look for when I'm flat, and yeah, you're a bit flat, but you're not flat, and that's that. So it's very easy. I'm a car salesman. I've done sales all my life, and I've made a career out of it, so I can blag openly.
that's a sales,
James,
tag.
And that is why he is my coach and has been my coach for a period of time, because he says it how it is, and I can't argue with that.
If anyone wants a car, Paul's
not your man. Yeah, car's a loose term for some of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think having a coach that you trust and respect for a long period of time is worth way more than going and picking the next big name or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like starting again. Like, okay, they might make a good guess to start with. Like they might, but most of the time, even if I get a new client, I look at them and see what sort of body type they are. I still have to pitch a guess to start before I can learn them.
You have to have a point, don't you? You have to have a point to start and to know where to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes you might nail it and then think, oh, we can improve on that, and it might not be the right way. But to be with, I don't know, I just think that at the moment, if if I go on Instagram now and hashtag prep coach, fucking hell, you'd just be scrolling for weeks, you get blisters.
Oh mate, since lockdown, fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. and this is the problem, is that but out of those prep coaches, they might have somebody that doesn't necessarily want to coach, but just wants to be overlooked in the last couple of weeks, who does it extremely well, and then suddenly their client's just done really well. So then, do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I say this to a lot of people, is I don't coach people. I've got this, I think there's 2 or 3 people that I help. And I do it because when I tell them to do something, they do it and they stick to it. But if they don't, then I'll just walk away, because it's hard enough as it is when you're on prep and when you've got a business and you've got a family. My time is very, very, very important. And I think that there's so many people out there that are too quick to blame the coach, but they don't really follow what they've got. And the amount of people that I know that are coached that say to me, oh, I've been told to do this, but would you do that? And I'm sure they've asked 10 other people, and not one of them's told them what they want to hear yet. And they just keep asking.
There's,
you have to be coachable, don't you?
That actually leads on to the next question. There's questions on the page. One of them from Liam Payne Ritchie. If you could work with any coach in the world, no money is no obstacle, who would you pick? Obviously for you, I'm guessing that will be James still. I didn't have a reason to. James has literally brought me from not placing at an Hour West show to being an IFBB Pro. And whether that's, some people will turn around and say, that the lineup wasn't massive or there was no one there. I was there, I turned up, I was in shape, and I won it. So, I was in the right place at the right time. But the reality of it is I still had to be in good shape. And there were some pretty good guys there. Not to knock who was there. There was. But
also progress.
It was a big show.
You can't knock the progress.
Absolutely.
Like, whatever anyone thinks.
I started off. Yeah, I think I'm probably £20. No, it's not my weight. My stage weight isn't huge. I think I was 87 kilos or something like that for the British finals. So what's that? I was probably like 77 the first show I ever done. So what's that? 22 pounds, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's 22 pounds of lean tissue. You know, and I'm 5'6", so when I look back at the pictures from when I started, and I thought I was massive, to where I am now, and I think I'm tiny.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. I think sometimes it's easy, isn't it, to get lost in the results when the progress kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. But also the people that are saying people say, "Oh, I could have done it," well, but you fucking didn't, did you? So who did?
Yeah,
well, Paul turned up, healed,
yeah.
and he did.
Yeah.
So you can't fucking moan about it. Like you didn't go. So like, fuck off.
Yeah. Mate, we've all stood and looked at what shows and thought, "God, I would beat him," and we have. Whether anyone's on earth prepared to admit it or not, we all have. But I think sometimes when you're stood up there and you're actually a part of it all, is that really the case? I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm invincible. I'm sure that there's many people out there in the UK that would have beat me that day. But like you said, they weren't there. They weren't in shape, and they didn't keep training when everything else was shut down.
Number one way to make sure that number one way to make sure that you don't win is to not turn up. Like, that's like
start.
Like that's up there. Like that's 100% success rate of not winning that.
Yeah,
gotta be in it to win it.
There you go.
That is exactly true.
So
you do have to be in it.
Another awkward question from.
Well, no, fuck that. Because what about you then, Johnny?
What?
So we knew the answer that Paul was going to give. What coach would you have?
Me? Nobody. I'd coach
nobody. I'll fuck off then. All right. Come on then, Garen. You've got to have someone fancy, aren't you, you little classic bastard?
Well, it's you.
Oh, is it? Fuck me.
When I get back up on,
you wouldn't have the minerals to do the Dan McNabb diet, I don't reckon.
No.
I'll tell you one thing. I've trained with Dan before. Once, I think. Twice. I'm still trying to recover now. I think that's 2019. That's not for me, that.
As we said about progress, I got to push myself in the deep end. I'm like,
hey, come and do one session and we'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Cool. Well, Jack, then come on. Who's big in the natty game?
No, I probably wouldn't go with anyone that in like the natty game. I don't know. Like, the way Patrick Tor operates, I know he's like the in thing now, but he's very sort of like no cheat meals, no bullshit and all that, and I can deal with all that. So potentially someone along those lines, maybe, because that's one of the reasons why people don't stick with him, is because he's so regimented. So maybe, yeah.
I think that's why you're successful. I think you have to be regimented, don't you? I think if you're going into this for cheat meals, you're in the wrong sport, in my opinion.
Well, it takes two to tango. You can have the best coach, and if you're a cunt, then you'll still be shit.
That's it.
Like, you have to have two people aligned, don't you?
You have to be coachable, don't you?
Yeah. And so many people fucking aren't. It's absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
Go on then, Johnny. Hook us up. Mine still have Bales, by the way. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, I assumed that was the answer anyway. I think we
all assumed that.
He's my new dad. So.
So Adam Ledner. So what happened there? Last week he put a question on the thing that we couldn't ask because it was fucked up, and then I seen a post on Instagram saying he'd come and trained legs with you, Dan.
He did. I made him pay.
Did he ask you any more fucked up questions?
Yes, he's asked another one.
No, but he's
asked another question.
Our PT session ran over half an hour because he had to sit down for half an hour to finish the last exercise.
Did you charge him?
Have you trained with Dan? Have you ever trained legs with Dan?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I wouldn't. I'd give it a miss.
I'm definitely up for it. I'm definitely.
Honest to God, I was ill. My central nervous system done. I was ill. Honest to God. That's the last time I trained with them. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking.
I could give him a run.
Because I felt like I had to, because I was in with other bodybuilders, and this is where I get very competitive. And he's a lot stronger than I am. But I did have a go, and it fucking hurt. But,
Was
yeah.
it
You had
like
to go. You had to go.
But that was all of the progress. It was nothing to do with James, actually.
Yeah.
It was just that one session was all
Was from
of
down
the
to
time.
down.
Yeah, that upper body, even the upper body, just training. That was it.
Was that that point?
I reckon Johnny should come and do it, but he's strong. But has he got the lungs for it? That's what I want to know. Has he got the
I'm
lungs?
game. I'm game. We'll video it.
All right.
I think it's the heart you need for that, not the lungs. I think it's the heart.
Oh yeah, no,
Brave
I pride myself, same as Dan. I pride myself on the legs, so I'll give him a run for his money.
All right, well, we'll set it up.
So
There
you go.
this Adam has put another question.
Oh, fucking hell, I did read
Another
the first
good
bit.
one. So, would you rather do the first 99% of a blowjob or the last 1%?
What?
There we go.
Yeah, but
There we go.
it depends. For some people, it could be the same length of time.
If you go on my OnlyFans...
Well, no, statistically, it can never be the same time. That's how percentages work. Like,
Well, no,
But it
because
could-
the 99% beforehand might be really quick for some people, but not others.
You
I don't
shouldn't
think
say
you understand
fuck
what
all.
100% is. So,
You shouldn't say nothing.
So what they're getting at, Dan, is the
I think
99%
this
is the sucky time, and the 1% is the cool time. Ooh.
no, I know the
There we go.
options. They're both
Yeah.
bad options.
Yeah, so the
One
sucky
is
time.
shorter than the other. That's how percentages work. I'll draw you a diagram.
What's this? What is that? The
We're going to skip that one. I think we'll take that one as a bypass. We'll skip that one. That's why we wouldn't skip.
Or is it like a two-part question?
Jack, mate, don't fuck with me. I've been a maths teacher, all right? Like, but 100%, it's a finite amount. You have no more.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Dan, the 99% for some will be a lot quicker than others.
Right. Okay, that's cool. But it's still, you get ejaculation or
longer
not.
time, yeah.
like,
Right. Okay. So he did caveat the question with something serious.
Fuck off.
He said, "Insert
More
more
serious
serious."
than that.
So after Nick Walker's domination at New York Pro, does it affect the bodybuilding pecking order in the top 6 at the Olympia?
I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be in top 6.
No.
Yeah, I think from a this is I don't know, this will make me sound like a bit of a patronising prick, but from an effort standpoint, you can physically see how good he is, if that makes any sense. You know, you can see that he's lived, fucking eat, slept, bodybuilding for the time that he's been able to. Do I think that his physique is, and I fucking hate when people use the word genetics, because I do think that there is a point you can get to without good or bad genetics. But when you look at people that are in the top 6, I don't think he's quite there yet. And yeah, that's
Age
my
is on
simple
his
answer.
side for sure. But
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's got a lot of growing time.
and like the progress he's made even in the past year. So his
Yeah.
trajectory is huge. But
let's think about it though as well. Okay, so he's got growing time. Where does it go where it doesn't make him look worse?
But I will agree with Dan on that. In that he's at a point where he's a very big guy, and I think, if he keeps getting bigger and bigger, is he going to look like Big Ramy? Is obviously fucking huge, but he kind of carries it. He come and pilled. That was his thing. He couldn't get pilled. Now he's pilled, and he's Mr. Olympia. I don't know if Nick was pilled. If he gets any bigger, will he still look comparable? Which is what, he's Mr. Olympia, so you have to compare him to him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a bit of a question, just simply because we won't know. We won't know until, I don't know when the Olympia is. When is it? September? I mean, they moved it last year, didn't they?
I mean, it's the thing is Ramy actually progressively got smaller, really, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's how he dealt with it. But
Yeah.
also, Ramy's muscle was quite new when he first started. Obviously, he'd not been training long, and he was already a fucking absolute. So the condition was kind of holding the muscularity, waiting for the maturity to kick in, so that he actually could dice it up enough for him to look how he does. I think it was part of that as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
My thoughts.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't know when you even compared to Ian Valair. Is that his name?
Yeah.
I'm not big on this bodybuilding thing. He's massive. He's a big guy, isn't he? But if you look at his physique, I just think it's a little bit. And again, I've only seen pictures from this weekend, so I haven't seen the full video. And we can all look good when we're just stood up on our own. But when you line up with the best bodybuilders in the entire world at 280 pounds, I think that it can tell a very, very different story.
I think it has to be, if he can hold his midsection or improve his midsection, then I think he's going to be competitive in, towards that top 6. But if that gets progressively worse, as they tend to do when they've got nowhere to really go with their size, where he is at the moment, then he's fucked.
I do think he's got a future in bodybuilding. I do think he's got a big future in bodybuilding. I really do. I just don't know if at the moment we've packed a lot of size on a lot of tissue, and we've got to remember he's 26. I'm 40 this year. I appreciate I've only been doing this for, I wouldn't joke, that's how I'm 40 this year. So I've been bodybuilding for 7 years. He's probably been bodybuilding for less time than that. And he's 26, so he's got 13 years until he's where I am right now. So you can do a lot with that, and like you say, with big Ramy, he's downsize. I think as his his body matures and everything else, and we all know your body gets used to it. It does. It knows what to do. It knows what direction you want to put it in, and all the rest of it. So,
do you think he's in a better position to be going for a 2-on-2?
He couldn't go 2-on-2.
He was He was like 270 on stage or something.
Yeah. 270.
Got the leg off.
Yeah.
Well, I actually don't know what he was, but he's not that short.
No.
I don't know. That's the problem with him. Structurally, he's not. Johnny, I think I've mentioned this to you before. Structurally, he's not very big. So height and definitely clavicle width. He's not massive in that. So it's like Paul. It's when you said standing by himself, he looks huge.
Yeah.
And then don't get me wrong, he looked awesome this weekend, but.
Oh, he's 5'7".
Yeah, so Justin nearly had him. But purely because Justin's structure, his shoulders are massive, the width on them. So
his finish. It was his finish. If you look at like the way that the muscle pushed, the skin, the way that it was just, the finish was nicer like that. But Nick edged him on gnarliness. But I think that to be an Olympia, you have to have both. Maybe he can do both later.
Literally, Nick stood, in my opinion anyway, he literally stood out for muscle size. He was fucking peeled, he was vascular, and I know we spoke about his lower half, but he was still vascular, and he stood out, and it was literally hanging off of him. But he was in good condition with it. He wasn't just a big lump on stage. He just seemed to have got it right.
Did any of you see Justin's lat spread in the morning? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, but front or rear.
Imagine if you're hitting a back lat spread and you contract in. That's how he was holding it.
There was rumors that he cramped.
So he couldn't. He literally did not spread at all. It looked so awkward.
Yeah, there was
holding it.
His lats cramped, so he couldn't get it out.
Fuck, that's a serious cramp for
It
both
looked
your
so
lats.
awkward on stage.
Your lats are just saying to your shoulders, "Get over here," trying to pull some wings out. Oh mate, that must have been fucking shit. I did see some weird touches. I think Nick actually needs to not put on size and just kind of hold that and get used to it, and just that's enough for now. Try and not think that you need more and more. I do also worry about him being so young. Dallas McCarver was so young and so promising, and he had so much. I think he wanted more again real fast. And I think
it puts a huge strain, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if I was heading to the Olympia at 26 and I'd be like, I need everything. You know what I mean? You'd need someone really with their head screwed on to be like, whoa, hold on, because 26, you're fucking invincible. You're about to go to the greatest show on the planet. Like, you'd be fucking stoked, and you'd just be like, I need more. I need everything. I need more. And I think that was a danger. I don't really know the ins and outs of Dallas other than it was really sad. But I think that it definitely didn't help him.
I think Dallas was with Matt then, wasn't he? Said it's the same. I'm right in saying that, aren't I? Matt Jansen was a switch then, so you would think. I mean, I don't know Matt in any way, shape, or form. I never spoke to the fella, but from what I can see, he seems to be very close with the athletes that he works with, at least with the top guys. He's aware of all of this, and that he's pointing them in the right direction, because I think to have something like that over you no one want that, period, let alone, to repeat itself. But you don't know, everyone wants to win, don't they? And it's just, I think some people. Hello?
Your signal's dropping out, Paul.
Yeah, just a bit.
You're frozen.
I think with that, it's like, I have to remember, like, at that age, I probably would have had a coach, and then just gone, cool. I think he means like double. I think like. Sorry, Paul, you cut out. You froze a bit earlier, so I just.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I just said I don't know Matt in any way, but he seems to be quite close with all of his athletes, and you think that, and I don't know again what the reason with Dallas was and all the rest of it. There's some speculation about it, and there's nothing official, but you would that's in the back of his mind with obviously the other young guys that he's coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I just worry about the young guys because I know of what an idiot I was.
You're an idiot now, Dan.
Yeah, that's true.
I can imagine at 26 you were a royal cunt.
I was a 360 fucking
Right, move on to the next question.
Paul looks very disgruntled in his freeze position.
Hello.
He's there. It's the Paul.
Hello. Am I there or not?
You're you're intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
You're not in HD. You look a bit like an oil painting to me.
It sounded like a good signal. That knows. Again,
I think it's laying, dude.
There it is. Is that all right? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
But you didn't do anything, did you?
Hey?
You just said, yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah. Hello. No. I just looked on the.
It's like when you ring your grandfather and he shouts louder.
I'm in. I can see you. I'm back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
In a wheelchair. I don't know. I don't think I'll be competing in 5 years' time, if I'm honest with you. I think that I've probably got no more than 5 years left at this. My body is pretty fucked. So I'm waiting at the moment. I've got without boring the shit out of you, where I've broken my back. I broke it quite bad, and I severed part of a nerve in my back. I lost all the use of my right leg. I was in a bit of a state, and from the trauma from that, my back, the channels that run across your spine on my lower neck, I've got a nerve that runs in, and so they call it bony movement. So the bone is overgrown and it pinches the nerve. And the only way to free it up is essentially to operate through the neck, take the nerve out, and sand down the. That's a bit weird, isn't it? And sand down. Without have sound. And to sand down the channel, if you like. But what happens? So at the moment, if I do like I don't deadlift, I don't squat. I haven't for probably since 2018, which is when I had the scan. Just because when I aggravate it, it swells up. But the problem is it's aggravated because it's being pinched. So when it swells up, it obviously the pinch is tighter. Yeah. So I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for, when that gets bad enough. When I first did it, I lost a little bit, a lot of strength in my left arm. So when that gets to a point where I can't bench press, I can't shoulder press, I can't, then that'll be me done. And if I'm honest, I don't think I've got 5 years left for that. So if I'm going to have the operation now, I'm going to have 6 or 8 months, probably, recovery time in real reality from a neck operation. And I'm already behind on size, so I'm never going to catch up from that.
Well, you're going to take up like bowls or something?
I know this sounds a bit backwards, but I'd like to take up boxing or something to that degree.
I don't get it.
I've got to do something.
Just training, is it? Or?
Yeah, I wouldn't fight, I don't think. Claire won't let me fight. I've agreed that I won't fight, but I'll never say never.
Well, if you've only got the use of one arm, it's probably a good idea.
But it would be to fix it, so I'll be good then. I'll be good to go.
Okay.
I'll be good to go. I'm in the right gym for it. I'd like to. So boxing is something that I wanted to do before bodybuilding, but it didn't materialise. So this is where we are now.
No, your body's completely fucked. So you're thinking, I know. Next, I need a head injury. I need some brain damage. That's what I need.
So I can forget about how fucked
a little. Yeah, it's all right. It's not as bad as it sounds, man. It's over how old am I now? 39. It's over 39 years. Everyone's got their problems, haven't they? We've all had an injury. It's just mine to record it, I guess.
Yeah. So probably the most entertaining answer, Dan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Fucking me and Paul doing wheelchair boxing. Fight Night Live. Pay-per-view. Two Bros Pro event. It's going to be fucking sick, mate. 10x wheelchairs. It's going to be it's going to be fucking sick, mate. And when I say myself in 5 years, I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to pack it up in about the same sort of time frame, really. So I think in 5 years I'll be done as well. Like, I've got a hereditary heart condition, and I probably shouldn't take the piss with it too much longer. Really, that's kind of it.
Because you've been taking the piss your whole life anyway, but
yeah, but So, but I thought another 5.
I love how he's got awareness of it and says that he's going to do something. He's not. No, he's not.
No, I don't know. Like for competitive bodybuilding, like I don't want to be the guy in the gym talking about like, oh, I could have done this, or I would have done this. So like, no regrets to like fucking myself up or whatever. But also, I don't want to be flogging a dead horse and getting worse. The day that I really start deteriorating, like I do a show and I'm like worse, like noticeably worse, not just like I fucked the last week up or something, like then I'm going to stop, because I'd rather, like, you're not going to look back at the newer photos and be like, cool, because you're never as good as you. I
think you're very competitive, and I do agree with exactly with what you're saying, in that you see a lot of people, certainly in the masters classes and things, that just keep going because they can't accept that they. I don't know if it's because they can't accept that they shouldn't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but they're there for the fun of it, or for the that's what they've always done. Like you say, I think if you're competitive in this sport, then don't you? You look at yourself, and I do think the ones that progress are the ones that can stand back and say, right, well, I'm weak here, and I need to rectify that. And I think it's recognising that. And I do think there's lots of people out there that I'm not saying everybody does this to go out and win shows. I think a lot of people do it just, it's an achievement, isn't it? And it is. It's a massive achievement. But I think if you're in it, Dan's won the universe, he's done. He won the Britain. I think when you get to that level, you kind of get a bit hungry for it, don't you? And you want to progress. And so I do agree. I think if you're not moving forward, you don't want to move back from that point. You've hit that pinnacle. You don't want to be remembered, or you don't want to remember yourself as that.
Yeah, I think as well. Like also getting a bit older, doing it just because you enjoy being on stage, but taking the piss with health. It's like it's still kind of worth it, because I'm not fully old yet, and like my thing isn't like they're keeping an eye on it and it's like under control, everything's cool. But in the future, like I don't want to push the envelope too much for the reward to be not as good as last time.
Yeah.
And I really am a firm believer of you're only as good as your last show. So duck out on the highest one, I think, or close enough. So yeah, no, in 5 years' time, probably, yeah, I would probably I have to have an outlet, so I'd probably do something like Paul, like maybe not boxing, something a bit more zen-y, maybe something like a martial art, but something that
I could see you doing yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga now, didn't you? Yoga classes at Trojan.
Oh yeah, mate, get a little mats out. I'll get those Alibaba trousers and stuff, and like I'll get the the beanie, like the cross and like a beanie hat and a linen V-neck.
Yogi McNabb.
You can be best friends with Josh.
Yeah, I'll invite Josh round and we can do like
you can do Insta lives together.
Do the downward dog. But yeah, something I need an outlet. I need a physical outlet because I've got an outlet through music and everything, and teaching. Like that's a great mental stimulation and stuff. But I would still need a physical outlet. I'd still train. I'd still do something. I'd have to. Otherwise, go fucking.
Yeah. I think you spend so much time doing something, and it's like me with racing. I replace racing with going out and drinking and getting sideways.
Don't tempt McNabb again.
Which is not a good thing, yeah.
I do need to find something else.
I think when you find a passion for something, you have to fill the void, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think I could do round 2 of fucking Clarky Caps and Smurf pistols.
I could barely do round 1. So see about that. Would you coach, Sam? Would you still coach if you retired from bodybuilding?
See, that's a really good question. Like whether or not I'd be too sad. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think that, like I could, but maybe it would be maybe too sad.
Too much, yeah. Fair enough.
But I don't know. I'll have to see what it's like. I think it's whether or not
I think if you're content with what you achieved, I think you'd be fine with it. It's if you ever had like a regret, that's when it probably would like upset you.
Yeah.
So, in other words, you've got a lot to achieve in 5 years then.
Get your fucking boots on, son.
Well, I think I'm firing the rig up next week, so we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see.
They're there first.
All right, so Jack, next 5 years, pal.
Oh, no idea.
Track.
Hopefully still on the planet.
Number 1 influencer.
Huh?
Yeah. To have more followers than Ryan.
I'll have to snap a few quads, pecs.
Mate, it looks like that's happening in all of your videos anyway. So
mate, just get on OnlyFans. You'll be done.
Yeah.
Straight up like
OnlyFans, the quadra-spaz tag.
They're doing the damage that they're doing. Honestly, I didn't know the fuck you could do it. I'm not the strongest man in the world, but I knew when something's too heavy. Fucking hell. For me.
Oh, it was horrific. I had one client who I basically said specific. I gave him a new plan, and he would just come back. He was Welsh. He'd just come back from the gym, and I said, "Whatever you do, go in easy. Like, just go in easy. Just pump some blood around, feel it out. Come to the second week." And I was like, "All right, just don't do anything mad. Like, don't snap your pec off." Wednesday, I think I snapped my pec off.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, "What?"
I think.
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, what?" It was like, "Well, it sounded like," and then he showed me. It was like bruise. I was like. Yeah, I said not to do that, but I said. So I said, well, I feel like maybe I jinxed it.
That's exactly what happened to me, mind, because Mark Robinson told me because my chest was ahead of everything. He said, "Don't bench press or do chest for the next 4 weeks," and I was a young egotistical wanker, and the lads in the gym were like, "Have you seen how much John can bench?" So I started warming up with 3 plates aside. I was up to 5 plates aside. Second rep, it was just literally, there was no chance. So, yeah.
Just a point out, I'm not that Welsh person.
What's that, Paul?
Did you have to have it operated on to have it put back?
Yeah, well, I had it put back on twice by the NHS, and they didn't give a fuck. And then I had it done by Bupa.
So Johnny, you weren't clapping last year then, I presume?
Oh no, they're a bunch of wankers. I went in, right? I got rushed in to A&E, and they were like, they thought I was a rugby player because at the time I was obviously still quite small for a bodybuilder as such. I was only young. So they thought I was a rugby player, so they rushed me through, and I got to the doctor, and they asked me, they said, do you take any anabolic steroids? Obviously, I answered the question naively. I answered it honest. And they looked at me as if I was a rapist, and then told me that I needed to go home and come back for the scan. And they didn't get me the scan for 3 weeks, and I didn't have the op until the 5th week. And like after 2 weeks, tendons shrink away, and it's like the chances of successfully repairing it is next to none. So that was fucked, basically.
Shit. I think that the NHS are wonderful if you're really, really, really in trouble. But I think for things like that, you do have to just pay now. You know, so much strain. You know, and you can see it if you have to prioritise. You know, the person getting scraped off the tarmac versus someone doing a bench press. It's like it's fucked, isn't it?
I take a lot of, obviously, tablets and medication for my stomach, and I take a lot of painkillers, and obviously I do everything else that I do, creatine and stuff. And my bloods are never particularly good. And like, again, you go to the doctors, and I've been told to take up Pilates fucking I don't know how many times. But I book in now, and I have my bloods done twice a year. And if they come back bad, I go privately, and they've got different methods of doing it. And they treat you like a sportsman. They just treat you, you know, you pay your money, and they talk to you like you're just a normal bloke, or they level with you, shall we say, and they understand it. And I think that they're so used to seeing people that are different from the public, shall we say. You know, your normal, I drink a few glasses of wine or a couple of beers a week and just want to check my kidneys, that they kind of level with you, and they give you the right advice for you to keep doing what you're doing, rather than just drawing a line in the sand and saying, well, you've got to fucking stop or you're going to die.
Yeah, no, it cracks me up, right? I remember I got rushed into hospital with, it turned out to be a lower back issue, where they thought it was renal failure, okay? So I had a nurse giving me the talk, as they do. She was giving me the talk, and then I tried to explain to her. I said, so can you tell me what you understand about them? She's like, I don't know anything about them, but I know they'll kill you. Huh. I was like, oh, okay.
It's funny, because you do get, when I went in for the first time when they thought I had a stomach ulcer in my stomach, I said, no, I don't. I was fucking killed. I was like 4 weeks out. And I said, no, I don't.
All natty, bro.
Yeah, straight up, creatine. And so then obviously I went back, and Claire was like, babe, you're going to just have to fucking tell them, because if it is anything to do with it, like, they need to know. And the first doctor, another nurse came in, and they went through the questions again. And the doctor came in, and he read the notes, and he went, this is why I expected you to tell me the first time, and I mean yelled and threw the fucking thing down and the pad and walked off. Honestly, it was like I was like a 5-year-old child. I felt like, what the fuck? I was like there, just shut out 1 litre and 3/4 of blood, and I'd been told off by the doctor because I didn't tell him I was taking test or whatever it was I was doing at the time. But then he fucked off, and then the main lady of the ward or whatever, I don't know what fucking group, nurse, doctor, whatever, the specialist, or say, came in, and she said, look, what do you take? And I told her, and she just sat there, and she looked up and she went, well, I can tell you that none of that has got anything to do with this. And you kind of think, well, fair play to you, and you've got one doctor who's literally just, he's having a bad day, but he's lost his shit, nearly fucking broke my leg with his pad. And then the other one comes in, and she's just normal. She looked at it, and she's gone, oh, I've never heard of this. I think it was test prop. She said, what do you take? What is it exactly you're taking? I said, oh, test prop, and whatever else it was at the time. And she said, well, I've never heard of that, but I can tell you now, it's got nothing to do with this. And then off you go. And then, they deal with it. But yeah, I think a lot of it is, well, everyone's different, aren't they? And you can have two doctors, and one's got a brain, and the other one is just does exactly what they're told when they're being lectured at university, which is steroids are bad.
I mean, yeah, they are. I'm not going to say they're not, and they are, but there's many different things in the world that are accepted that fuck people up just as much, if not more.
But with like a pack tear, you can you can tear your pack on gear and you can tear your pack off gear.
Yeah.
Just because you're taking gear doesn't make you a worse person or less treatable, does it?
No.
Exactly. I think that's the problem. I think everybody puts gear down as being the fucking lunatic that runs around with a machete selling drugs out the back of his car.
That's wicked.
That's pretty much.
That's only what Dan does on the weekends.
Yeah.
Between yoga lessons.
Thursday to Mondays.
Did you see that video of those two blokes having a machete fight in their street? Have you seen that? Oh, wild. It's in like Birmingham. These two blokes are fucking going at it with machetes. They're having like a sword fight.
All right, I will Google that later. Thank you.
It happens everywhere these days.
That didn't end very well.
No. Jack, so 5 years, pal.
Honestly, I don't know. Hopefully...
Not living with your parents?
That's Johnny, I was getting to that. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so hopefully like a long-term role within education. But I still want to be in the same area really. And then hopefully a bit closer to physical 100% health. But who knows? So
yeah. G?
Obviously is to pursue my career in being an electrician. I definitely want to get that under my belt, and now I had the breakthrough with this job, and obviously opportunity for it, I'm going to pursue that. And basically see where bodybuilding takes me, to be honest. I work my fucking ass off, see where it takes me and go from there, really.
Hashtag classic.
Classic. That's it, and then Dan gets me bigger.
Bigger.
Right, next question. Where are we going to travel? First place we're going to travel when travel restrictions are lifted?
Ooh.
Spain.
To the boozer. Lads, Balaraki.
I haven't had alcoholic drink since 2014. There you go.
Me and you then. Lads on tour. Ooh.
1 pint and we go all over the fucking shop.
I'm doing obviously the Spain Europa show, so I'm booked out. That's where we're going. 15th of August. Actually, we go on the 13th of August. But yeah, ready for the 15th. So we've turned it into a little holiday. So we're gonna have a little family holiday afterwards.
Nice.
I tried to say to Ellis we should go somewhere. I was like, even if it's just for a night, we'll go somewhere, whatever. Like, pretend we like each other and that. And then she was like, "No, mate, you bought a hellhound. Like, no one's looking after the dogs. Like, no one. like, who's gonna walk that?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Is that so? That mean you never having a holiday whilst you got the dog?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a hell of a commitment.
No, like to be fair, when he's just turned 1, so like it's like having a teenager that's massive and can kill everyone. So like a bit like having me, I guess. But just until he's like solid and locked down, no one's going to take. I couldn't like leave him with my mum. Couldn't like walk him.
You like foster parents, don't you, for it?
Yeah, like
rather than a dog walker.
Yeah, because like if he sees a cat, he's just going to drag my mum like sideways just over the road. Like I can't. Yeah, I can't. It's not possible. We need someone like solid. So yeah, we would have a holiday. Ellis has a plan to maybe go to the Amateur Olympia, which I think is in like Norway or somewhere weird. And so
yeah. Denmark, is it?
Yeah, maybe it's Denmark, somewhere over those ways. So it's possible, but fuck knows how that's going to work.
Take him with you,
mate. Imagine that Denmark
sitting on the plane
with the Corso. Just be like, no, this is a person.
Scooby-Doo does it.
Yeah, Scooby. I'll quote you on that. I'll be like, my mate IFBB Pro Paul Latham does fucking fine. Scooby-Doo.
He said.
I'll get your Instagram up. Go look, see. Right.
What about you, Jack? Dubai, is it?
Yeah, Dubai. #blessed.
With the rest of the influencers, I've been on a holiday in years anyway, so I haven't got any immediate plans. If I'm honest, John.
Your life's a fucking holiday.
True.
G?
What? just like general holiday.
Oh,
No,
fucking hell. Just
place
answer
you're
the
gonna travel.
question.
I love when I say it, so you start.
Doesn't matter. Just fucking say anything.
I'm not a huge fucking fan of the holidays, you know. So I'm happy with it. I'm like,
You're living the dream in Swansea Valley's like.
genuine, like I just like being where I am. As long as I go to the gym and everything, I don't give a fuck
As
about
long as you go to the
it.
gym.
I sound like Jack now, don't I?
This guy.
Yeah.
I'm not
guy.
huge.
You can go anywhere in the world. We'll just fucking stay here, man. But
Dan, you wouldn't go anywhere, let's be honest.
mate, I would, mate.
I
I'd
can't
go-
imagine you walking around with your dad hat on in some
Mate,
hot
that's
weather.
me. That's
like-
my jam. That's what I do. Mate, I'm gonna go. You wait. When Winterstoke Road Sainsbury's opens their cafeteria next week, I'm fucking there, mate. Fucking scram up.
Jack short salt.
Yeah, mate. He's coming down there.
I'm the only one on the podcast that actually travels anyway, aren't
I think so, but yeah.
I? I'm waiting for the States to open back up, but that's kind of it, really.
Have you got that planned, have you?
Yeah, I got an RV trip starting from San Francisco with the kids, going down the coast, going down to Death Valley and all that good stuff.
You're a good man, you are, Johnny. You are a good man.
I love it. I love traveling, but obviously it's each to their own. My idea of a holiday as a kid was a caravan down in Devon, you know what I mean? So.
Do you reckon you'll hit up any gyms there, or just because you got the kids, you won't?
Yeah, well, I've done it a few times. I've been down on the coast and what have you. I've done it, didn't do an RV though, just stayed in like hotels and stuff. I've done Gold's Gym and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll still train. But obviously the difficulty for me is that obviously I can't hold down a relationship. So if I take the kids by myself, obviously they'll have to come with me to the gym. Okay.
Take the Bash Bros stickers with you and plaster them around gyms across the world.
Oh yeah, fuck I'm in.
Don't do that. We'll get sued.
American guy, you keep
Have you ever seen Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah.
So I could come.
Yeah, we'll just get maybe like fucking everyone will think we're a couple.
That's all right. Worst things that happen at sea.
You'd be the bitch.
Come on now. We'll fit. Anyway, I will bum you in real life. So, like, we'll just find out when it happens.
In real life.
Yeah, in real life.
It sounded like a compliment, that is, though.
The weird thing is, he actually texted me that the other night. I'm not going to show everyone, but it did happen.
No one's denying it.
Jack sort of.
Or the bumming.
Romantic late night texts.
It's just throwaway threats.
Yeah, I told him he had to buy me dinner first, and he refused.
Fucking hell, that did actually happen. I only just remembered that. I can't remember what it was about, but I was just going to play along.
It was from nowhere. It was from nowhere. I hadn't even been speaking. You just sent me a text saying,
mate. Nah, fuck that. Hold on.
Was that on your mind at the time, Dan, was it?
Hey,
Johnny's cheeks, like.
It definitely happened. Oh, fucking hell. I can't even find the text, but it definitely happened. Anyway, let's move it on.
You carry on. I'm going to just...
Yeah,
check.
I was going to ask Paul a question. Hang on, just bring it back to some serious shit.
Okay.
Paul, obviously, like the problems you're having with the stomach and stuff, there's like your carbohydrates and your proteins. What's like your alternatives and like off season, in season, whatever one you want to say?
I don't struggle in any way on prep food, as in clean food. And that's why I don't have any cheat meals. I struggle, I moan and fucking bitch about off season because I would love to be able to have a pizza and enjoy a pizza, but I don't. There it is.
Can I just read it? It just says, I've just written, come and bum me.
From
You said, buy me dinner first. I said, only outside. The restrictions.
With rules.
Yeah, COVID. I don't mind getting AIDS, but COVID, no.
Food it doesn't. I eat very, very bland food anyway. Just if I'm mixing it up, I'll have a rice cake and instead of some rice, but it doesn't really get much more exciting than that. Unfortunately, it's your basic. I don't have sweet potatoes, so I have white potatoes, I have oats, and I have rice, and that is. And that's it.
Yeah.
If there was like a satanic food, like the one food that would like turn you inside out immediately.
Anything spicy on any level, like pepper. There you go, done. Boom.
Really?
Do you know, like, does the missus
because I fucking love white pepper or a bit of white pepper on everything. I used to love that.
If you ever go against James again, you're going to see pepper pop up in your car.
Have to pepper every meal.
And if like you ever piss the missus off, does she ever like just sneak a little bit in?
A little bit. No, because she's the one that's got to hear about it. Fucking next 4 days. Relentlessly. Text, phone call.
Oh, yeah.
I'm shit at it being ill. Broken, like, pain I'm okay with. And I say that because I've got fucking more painkillers there than a fucking chemist. But when I'm ill, no, done. I'm fucking useless. Like, I'll hold my hand up to that. I am absolutely terrible. I'm the man that fucking whines and moans. I give all of us a bad name. That is true. Yeah, I'm good with broken bones and pain and all the rest of it, but I struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I'm properly shit. I'm a massive pussy when I'm ill.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
I think
I think it's about that time for the
5 top tips.
tips. So
I'll get that right one day.
even if
It's
you
not that, Garen. That's not it. That's wrong. Can't do that.
You have chucked that in the past. I'm just saying.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
You
true.
fucking done that and then it went that.
so I'm sure if you have watched the podcast, you probably didn't.
He hasn't watched the podcast.
No, but
I've never watched a podcast on any level of any podcast.
okay. Let me. If you had, you probably wouldn't have watched it this far anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So what we normally do, and a lot of people don't watch it this far, so it doesn't really matter what the quality of it
Have you
answers
got the
are.
statistics on that, Johnny?
No, but I will find out.
Yeah, find out for us.
Basically, we ask all of our guests to give 5 top tips based on. It doesn't have to strictly be bodybuilding.
On life.
Yeah, just anything like mistakes or anything you've learned, whatever.
Number 1, never wear your skis to bed. Number 2, never eat yellow snow. Number 3, stay away from white pepper. Number 4, don't text Dan after midnight.
That's up there.
And number 5, stay hydrated.
Oh,
Oh,
Boom.
that's good. That's good, clean fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if
I'm a
people
fan of
haven't,
that.
go and check out Paul Latham's YouTube channel.
There.
It's got a little YouTube channel. Actually, I did want to delve more into to do that, to do with some of the subjects you brought up in that. So we'll have to get you back another time.
We'll do it.
Maybe you could do a tag team with Llewellyn if he only partially hates us, and maybe you could be our could be our introduction into the liking us.
Into it, yeah. There you go. I could just shoehorn him in.
Yeah, there'll be like the softening of the hatred. Like, no, come on, James. I mean, they are cunts.
He said something the other week. I think, have you asked him to come on air?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Is someone else going to get him on? I bet it's
message-
those fucking Scottish guys.
Because he said something. He came down to train last Thursday, and I'm sure that I said that you'd asked me to come on here, and I think, yeah, he hasn't got anything negative to say. I want to say I thought he said that you'd asked him, but obviously not.
I think
Maybe that was him asking me to see if he could come on.
Yeah, that's probably it. He's probably desperate to get on.
Definitely barking up the right tree.
Yeah, when we first had the podcast, I think I may have asked him, but
And he said, fuck off.
and now that obviously he probably watched the Josh thing, so he probably wants to come on and give his piece. So
Most likely. I haven't seen the Josh thing. I would like to. I'm going to have to obviously watch it.
It's really not that interesting. I'm not gonna lie. It's I can't. It was just that he stopped coaching, or from James, and then they weren't really friends, and that was kind of it, really. So we didn't really get the insight. We're just wondering if you had the lowdown, the gossip around town, and then obviously he became a lentil eating, like strumming, singing, like just whatever he is now.
So he was doing posing with a posing course for someone somewhere. I did see on Instagram somewhere.
He is very good at posing. I'll give him that. There was I mean, I'm not really into all the kind of thing, but he was like posing on a rock. Not recently, because he is reduced. He is a reduced human. But when he was like proper heavy, doing some posing on a rock, and I was like, that's quite nice, quite like that.
Yeah.
But
imagine Dan doing that. Dan with some soft music.
Yeah, it's not. I'd like to be that guy. I'd like to be that guy. I'm not the guy.
No, I'm not very good at that. I go in, I do my quarter turns, mandatory poses, bit of music, go, done.
Yeah. I just think if I can pick like the most epic music, then how slow I can do it feels like it's on purpose, but it's actually just the fastest I can move.
That is hands down the worst part of bodybuilding for me. Hands down. That little 1 minute that feels like 4.5 hours is I'm not good with that. I'm
absolutely with you there. Some people fucking love
that's what they do it for. A lot of people, that's why they do it, for that bit there. That's not me. I'd rather be going elbow to elbow and having half a row on stage.
Yeah, they should do that though at the end. Instead,
it's a free for all. Free for all.
I tell you what, I'm not really a great fan of the pose down.
No, I don't think anyone is. I don't know. I think once you've seen everybody on stage and they've all done their mandatories and they've all done their minute, I think everyone's seen. But I also appreciate from a judge's point of view, I think that's their time.
Yeah.
To
just gather
discuss, isn't it? That's why I think a lot of the time if it's close, I think that's the judge's time just to.
Do you remember what they did at the I think it was the Olympia, like for a bit where
the challenge round.
They would call them out, and then one of them would pick a shot.
The challenge round, yeah.
Yeah, the challenge round. Yeah. That was cool.
I didn't see that.
I tell you what, I mean, that was when the Olympia was massive. I tell you what I saw. I saw a photo of Hadi Chopin, and but it was from the stage out at the Olympia, and fuck me, there was not a lot of people. That was not a big venue. Yeah. That was not. I think it was last year, but it was not a big venue. I was like,
they moved it, didn't they? It was in Vegas, and then they moved it to somewhere else because Vegas wouldn't. The rules for COVID were not. Yeah, we're not good.
I mean, maybe it was limited because of COVID, but I was like, that made me a bit sad, really.
Olympia, yeah.
There's still that one on Pumping Iron. I don't know, like on the original Pumping Iron, and they pan to the crowd, and there's literally like a guy going standing up. Like,
I think it's in a tent, isn't it? Is it in a
yeah. It looks like a circus ring, and then like
Columbo looks like he's fucking got zero brain, and he just looks a bit backstage.
Yeah.
Much like
and then Columbo blows up like a hot water bottle, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Bring that back.
Moves the car, parks the car. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Bring that back. We want challenge rounds, blowing up hot water bottles,
and lifting cars.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for coming on, Paul. It's good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I'll probably see you tomorrow anyway.
Absolutely. I'll catch you in a bit.
Thanks, Paul.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks, mate.
I have no idea how to stop this.